Hey there, everybody, and welcome to the Internet Marketing Specialist Designation bonus webinar. That's right, we love them. It's not one of our lightning learnings. No, that's when we take 30 minutes, crash course, and teach you something wow. Instead, today, we're going to stretch that out to the full hour so that we can bring you a lot of content and a lot of information, and that means answer a lot of questions. So if you've got questions, don't forget to type them in the box so that we can answer them as we go. My name is Chad, and I'm the guy from the Internet Marketing Specialist Designation. That's right, you have no idea what I look like, you just know my voice. Probably haunts you by now, and that's okay. That's my point. We're going to bring on for you, though, an amazing company that we really wanted to feature today. We really wanted to talk about these guys because, wow, we know that video is a challenge for a lot of you. We know that a lot of people are shifting away from email because we know that Facebook might be a better way to get a hold of somebody, yet email still works. And you know what's the best? If you can take video and you can take email and you can mix it together. One of the things you trust us here at the Internet Marketing Specialist Designation for is finding you great products. Well, we found one, and we want to share it with you. We want to talk to the people from BombBomb. That's right, they're not making things that explode. You don't have to worry. The only explosion that comes from these guys is your inbox lighting up from replies that you're going to get. That's right. We're going to show you how video, how email come together with an amazing product that we wanted to talk to you about today. So I'm going to bring onto the line Ethan Butte. That's right. Ethan is the CMO from BombBomb. He went to the University of Michigan. He might not be a Broncos fan, as I hinted out earlier. We might just have to find out a little bit about this gentleman. Ethan, are you here on the call with us today?
I am. Thanks so much for having us. To go straight to the opening questions, yeah, I actually am a Broncos fan. I grew up in Michigan as a Detroit Lions fan. It was the Barry Sanders era, so who could resist that? But I was also a big fan of John Elway, Sammy Winder, the Three Amigos, Carl Mecklenburg. So my Broncos fandom goes way back. And I am out here in Colorado Springs now. So yeah, I am the CMO at BombBomb. If you ever want to reach me about anything I cover here or anything you're wondering about that I don't cover, you can email me, ethan@bombbomb.com. I always make time to get back to people that have questions about video, about email, or about video email. And you can find me on Twitter, first name, last name. You can find me on most social networks that way. And my background is in local television marketing and promotion. So your local NBC affiliate, your local Fox affiliate. I worked at TV stations in Grand Rapids, Michigan, Chicago, and out here in Colorado Springs. And so when I joined the team here at BombBomb about a year ago, I brought a lot of writing and a lot of video production and positioning and that kind of thing. And I am a University of Michigan guy, and I'm hacking away at an MBA at the University of Colorado here in Colorado Springs. BombBomb was founded in 2006. We are out here on the beautiful Front Range of the Rocky Mountains, and we provide an email marketing platform that was designed to support video since day one because video is personal and powerful, and that's where we'll start today. About half of our customers are real estate, mortgage, and title professionals, and we have customers in 12 countries on 5 continents and in 49 states plus the District of Columbia. If you know anyone in South Dakota, please refer them to us. We really want to check that off the list. So what we'll be talking about today, we'll start with video. If we can go to the agenda. We'll start with video. This is a little bit 2 webinars in one. I got it about 20 minutes on video and about 20 minutes on email. So we'll talk about why to commit to video as a part of your marketing effort overall, where you can put video, what kinds of videos to make, cameras you can use, and I have 12 specific tips for making better looking videos. And then on the email side, I call it why to recommit to email. You're probably doing some form of email, whether you're just living out of your Outlook or your Gmail inbox. I'm going to talk about why to recommit to email. It's really been a hot topic. You know, the email is dead meme ran across the internet, and then of course there's the whole counter meme, which is email is alive and well, which is very true. I'll talk about why you might want to use an email service provider. Again, getting out of Outlook or Gmail and getting serious about your email marketing. I'll talk about basic concepts around permission and how to avoid looking like a spammer, behaving like a spammer, and or getting prosecuted for being a spammer. And then I'll talk about getting into the inbox, because that's one of the most common questions that we get is, how can I make sure that my emails get delivered? So I'll touch on that a little bit as well.
Wow,
So,
that's a lot of stuff we're going to be covering in this hour, Ethan. So
I'm
you
a
better
fast talker.
Yeah, I was going to say everybody better buckle their seatbelts because I'm going to speed up my talking, and I already talk pretty quickly, and they know it. And it sounds to me like we're going to have to take that kind of Michigan boy in you there, where you're a little bit faster back towards the East Coast and speed you up so that we can get through all of this today. So a lot coming. I'm already getting some feedback from some people. If you already use BombBomb, let me know. Share that with us so that we can see. I got Steve here already saying that you're one heck of a stand-up guy. And Steve, it's nice to have you here on the call. It's good to see you here. All right, so if you are using BombBomb or not using BombBomb, let us know just so we have an idea of how much you understand or don't understand about this. Just signed up 3 days ago and already getting results. Wow. All right, Alexander, that's it.
Love to hear that.
We're done with the webinar, right? That just made the whole point of what we're talking about here. So we're going to be going through all of this stuff today. Steve's even telling us best thing he's done for his email marketing. And then I got other people, Ethan, just so you know, on the other side saying, never even heard of it until today. So you've got your challenge laid out for you there. Looks like I got another really important question before we get going. Is there anybody on this call in South Dakota? Right, that was the state we're looking for?
Yeah, we'd love to check that off the list.
Is there anybody on this call that's in South Dakota? Because if you're in South Dakota, we want to know you just became our star. Stacy, wait on that. We got something for you. Anybody here from South Dakota? Darn, I'm not getting any response. All right, we're going to have to go on a search and find somebody on South Dakota for you in the IMSD program that's we can get this webinar in the hands of. Now, you've got a lot, video and email.
Yeah.
And yet what BombBomb brings us is video email. Yet you break it down into the two sections. Let's jump into the first one. Let's talk a little bit about video. Because
cool.
That's a hard part of it. Because Ethan, a lot of these people, even though we tell them not to be fearful of it and all that, a lot of the people who are out there just don't want to get in front of a camera.
Sure, I'll work off the slides right now before I get into why you should commit to video. Kind of the three main objections we hear. One, I don't feel comfortable being on camera. That's just a matter of practice. Two, I don't like the way I look. Big spoiler alert, all the people you're working with and are going to work with in the future already know what you look like. So your physical appearance should not be a barrier for you. In fact, it's something you should embrace. And then number three, it's I don't know where to start. I don't know what to use. I don't know what camera to use. I don't know how to shoot video, etc. And there's some basic things that you can do to get going. And it's really, again, that's also a matter of practice. But I'll get to that when I get to the tips section. I'm going to start by talking about why you should commit to video, why I believe that nearly every business and organization can and should be either developing or hiring in a competency around video inside their organization. And the first one is that video is personal. It's eye to eye, it's face to face, it connects us. We're designed to communicate face to face. Our brains read nonverbal cues and all that. So being personal is the first reason. The second one is it's about being authentic. It's about being yourself. It's about sharing your expertise and who you are and what you believe in and why you do what you do and the way that you do it. And it helps build trust. It builds rapport. It builds relationships. Video is completely consistent with the overall marketing themes of authenticity and transparency and getting real with people, because people want to do business with other people. Third, it's a complete communication. It includes all the subtlety and the nuance and the nonverbal cues that text and images alone can't deliver. They just can't. So video is a complete way to communicate with people. Fourth, it's compelling. People prefer to watch rather than to read material. So if I give you 5 paragraphs of text or a 1-minute video, what are you going to go to? You would probably prefer to go to the video to digest that information. It's just much more compelling than blocks and blocks of text. Next, it's complementary. Your video doesn't have to do it all. In fact, it can just complement the words and pictures that you're using in your online marketing and bring that message to life, to humanize it, to give it a personality, to emphasize the key points, and just complement those text and images rather than trying to deliver the message completely on its own. And finally, it's a differentiator. It's still unique. despite the obvious need for video and the benefits of it, most people still aren't doing it. And so to the degree that you can, do what I already described, which is either develop for yourself or hire in a competency around video and start producing video and distributing it online in all the various ways that I'll cover in a minute. To the degree that you can do that today, you're ahead of many, many other real estate professionals that you're competing with in your own market to get new listings, to get new leads, and all that. So it's differentiating. So
That's a great point there, Ethan, to make sure that we stand out from everybody, make sure we're being personal, all these things that are here, and you make the great point that if you're ever going to work with these clients, they're going to know what you look like anyway, so get over that whole video thing. You know, we got a great comment just typed in from one of our regulars, Stacy Smith. I mean, if you're in the IMSD program, you definitely know Stacy because you've seen her on our Facebook pages. You've seen her always sharing great questions and great feedback. And Stacy actually says, and she's not a shy girl, she says she doesn't intimidate easily, yet being on video genuinely intimidates her. And I know there's a lot of people that are out there. These are the reasons, and hopefully if you can understand these reasons Ethan just shared with you, you can break down that wall. And we're going to go through where to put the videos, the kinds of videos to make, the cameras that are out there that are easy, you know, all these things and some tips about it. As we go forward, I'm going to ask Ethan right now to talk about where to put these videos. What I want to know from you guys is, do you intimidate by video? Are you intimidated? Is that the reason you're not using it? Or to you, is video just old hat? Yeah, turn on the camera. Who cares what happens? Let me know. Is video intimidating to you? I want to know how many people feel that way. And while they're doing that and typing that in, Ethan, now I understand why to do video. I mean, it definitely sets me apart. I know me as a person. You send me a long email, I'm not reading it. I'm really not. Yet if I can click play and listen to you while I'm doing something else, you're probably going to catch me, and maybe I'm looking at the video, maybe I'm glancing at it, maybe I'm actually listening to what you got to say. Where should these videos be put, though?
Sure. So when you think about video marketing, which is all I'm talking about here, I'm not talking specifically about video email, you probably think about YouTube, where you take your video, you upload it, you title it, you tag it all up, you search optimize it, you hope that anonymous masses of people come and find it and become new leads for you. And that's a perfectly great use of video, and we do that ourselves. But your video belongs anywhere that you're doing online marketing, and that includes websites, landing pages, your blog posts, your listing pages, obviously across all the social networks, and of course inside your email. Anywhere that you do, the whole point of this slide is anywhere that you're doing online marketing with words and images, you can add video. And video will help bring your message to life. It will help you stand out from the crowd. It will help people get a sense of who you are so that when they meet you for the first time, they're going to have a sense of who you are and what you're about. So no matter where you're doing online marketing, you can add video to that.
Ethan, let's be clear here. Your screenshot that you're showing at the top here, that car's not moving. Right? We do not recommend filming video and driving. Let's be clear on that. We are not promoting that. Don't get pulled over and say, well, Chad and Ethan told me that I should make a video, and there was one of a guy in a car. So
safety first. We do have several customers that use a dash mount with their iPhones, and when they come out of meetings, they just pop that thing on and shoot a quick video that says, hey, thanks so much for the meeting. I'll have that paperwork for you by the end of the week like I promised, and this thing's going to go awesome. Thanks again for trusting me with your business. And they shoot that out with our iPhone app, and the next time their customer picks up their phone or sits down at their computer, they have a very specific video message personal to them that's thanking them for their business and setting expectations for what's next in the process. So, yeah, people do shoot a lot of video in their cars. Not always while driving. And preferably not while driving.
Hopefully, yeah, they could shoot them in their car. It's a great place to be. It makes them feel really natural, yet let's make sure we're not doing it while driving. Absolutely. All right, so we've got some videos. We know places to put them now. That's a great list. I mean, basically anywhere we are, there should be a video. What kind of videos?
A short video that just brings that message to life. It doesn't have to do it all. It just has to help bring that message to life.
Where or what kinds of videos should we be making then? I mean, if we've now got where to put them, what kinds of videos should we make?
So the list is endless. There are countless opportunities to add video to your online marketing. I always like the personal introduction, who you are, what you're about, what your expertise is, what you specialize in, how long you've been in the market, etc. And those are great for autoresponders to form fills on your website. Those are great for website pages. They're just really useful to have, and it helps you focus your marketing message overall, kind of who are you and what are you about and why should someone do business with you. Those are questions you obviously are answering on a daily basis, so you make a simple video about that, and there are many places you could share that. Other no-brainers are neighborhood tours and home tours, obviously market updates, whether you want to do those weekly, monthly, quarterly, whatever, just your personal take on what's going on in your local market, maybe by state or even by nation. And that helps add to your credibility, level of expertise, and authority on the topic. Event invitations. This is a catch-all for me. This could be an open house invitation. This could be what Chad does, inviting people to different events that he's putting on and different webinars. This is inviting people to come see us at Mega Camp next week. Anything that you're putting on, any kind of event, whether it's a mixer, an open house, anything, you can send personal invites to those. Screen capture videos. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on screen captures, but we have a lot of customers using these very effectively. You can just draw a box on your computer screen and do anything you want there, whether that's show someone how to fill out a special form on your website, whether it's showing someone where to fill out a document, whether it's demonstrating to your customers that you're working on their behalf by showing them their YouTube analytics and the analytics on their listing pages to show who's looking at it, who filled out forms, and that kind of stuff. So you can do screen captures and show people things on your computer through video. Thank yous. None of us says thank you enough, I don't think. So thank you for your business. Thank you for your referral. Thank you for your meeting. Thanks for filling out the form on my website. Nurturing and education. You are an expert, whether you know it or not, whether you have the self-esteem and self-confidence to acknowledge this. You have a lot to teach people. You have a lot of information you can share with people, whether it's about a personal passion of yours or whether it's specifically about the market you're in. Top 5 things a home buyer needs to know before buying a home in Seattle. Different neighborhoods throughout Austin, Texas. What you can expect in different price ranges in Oklahoma City. You have a lot of things that you could do either as standalone videos or as a series of videos, either as a drip campaign or a YouTube playlist or a Pinterest board. You have a lot of things that you can teach people about, and again, that adds to your credibility. It generally will produce kind of link juice, Google juice, as you distribute this information across the internet and link it back to kind of your home base, whether that's your brokerage page or whether it's your personal real estate page or whatever. And again, there are countless other opportunities. I just wanted to throw this out to say, similar to the previous slide, no matter what you're trying to communicate, you can do it with video.
You know, there's one that's missing from this list, and obviously countless other opportunities gives us the nice kind of cover out there. There's one that's missing. There's one that's missing from this list that, in my opinion, would probably be number 1 or number 2.
Wow. Okay.
And that's going to be, and there's a few people who have already typed it in and told me they're doing it, and that's going to be your testimonials.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Because there's nothing, there's a great video of, hey, this is Chad, hi, you know, seeing that video of me introducing whatever it is, yet there's nothing more powerful than the voice of someone else talking about you. So
totally agree. Huge oversight on my part. We use them ourselves. We solicit them from our customers once or twice a year because, just as you said, what your customers have to say about you and your service is far more convincing and effective than anything you're going to say about yourself. Totally agree.
So that's a great one to also take advantage of. And we're getting some great questions as they come on here, as they're coming past, and some of them I'm saving, so don't think we're ignoring your question, and we'll also open up at the end. One of the questions, though, is if someone's taking a video on their phone, and I know we're going to get to cameras here in just a moment, so that's going to give me kind of that segue here. You're going to talk about the different cameras and the way they could use their phone. If they're using it on their iPhone, and if they get an iPhone 5, I want to see it and I want to touch it. But if they're using their phone to make the video, there's an app. I know there's an app that they can then use to upload that video right into BombBomb and have access to it. Some people are asking, do you have an app for the Droid as well?
Droid app is in development. That's a fourth quarter 2012 project. I am a Droid user. Please do not hate me. Someone's got to stand up for an alternative in our office here, which is definitely iPhone, iPad dominated. The Droid is just, it's kind of Wild West. I think any app developer will tell you that it's a little bit crazier. You know, iPhone and iPad is really, you know, it's a closed situation, and it's easier to develop for Droid, particularly around video and all the different devices and all the different cameras. It's kind of been we've been looking at it and hacking away at it off and on here this year. We know it's something that we need to do. It's something that we're currently working on. It's something that I personally want. So yes, absolutely foreseeable future, but not presently available.
All right, so it's coming for those of you that are Droid users. Otherwise, it's just another reason to get to the iPhone. Plus, there's other ways, of course, to get the videos in, and that's not what we're going to talk about right now. I just was using it as the segue here to talk about some cameras. So tell us about, you know, some of those crazy cameras that are out there that we should, you know, do we need to spend $1,000 for some of these cameras, or can we just get away with, you know, the cheap and easy ones that are out there?
Okay, cool. Main point of this slide is you already own something that you can use to get started shooting video today, period. You own something like this, guaranteed. You have a mobile device. You probably have a webcam built into your laptop. You may have an add-on, a separate one that you plug in typically by USB. The two that we like best here, the Logitech C920, I've seen it anywhere as little as $60 on Amazon to as much as $100, so I said 80. It's full HD. Dual canceling microphones, super high quality. If you're a Mac user, the 920 is not available, Mac compatible, but the Logitech C910 is, and that runs about $100. So those are great webcams to use. Screen capture software, I mentioned those before. A company called TechSmith makes Snagit and Camtasia. Snagit's the junior version. It's actually the one that I use, and I find it meets all my needs. Camtasia's the more deluxe one at about $300. If you are a Mac user, ScreenFlow's kind of a middle of the road there at $99. We have 2 or 3 customers that I've spoken with that use it and love it. You have a point-and-shoot camera. That's that little camera that you drop in your purse or drop into your pocket. You use it for family photos, that kind of thing. You know, generally inexpensive, anywhere from, you know, $100 to $600 or $800. I say $300 here because that's kind of what they're going for. Most of those also shoot video. I don't highly recommend that one because the audio is typically not great, and most of them do not allow you to plug in an external microphone. But if you have it, we do have customers using those. Next up, the DSLR camera. This is that super nice Nikon or Canon or Olympus or Sony that you have. You know, it's got the nice long interchangeable lenses, got the wide angle, you got the zoom, you got all that, and they typically run anywhere from, you know, $600 or $800 at the entry level to $1,200 and beyond. So if you already own one of those because you're a photography buff or you just like to shoot better photos than the point-and-shoot camera allows, your camera probably shoots HD video, and most of them also allow you to buy a separate microphone to plug into it. So that's a really nice option. But my overall recommendation is for the camcorder, and Sony, Canon, Panasonic all make perfectly nice ones. I don't think I'd spend any less than $300, although you could, and I probably wouldn't spend any more than $800, maybe $1,000 max. Most of these are going to allow you to plug in an external microphone, and the cool thing about it is it's designed to do one thing, and that's to shoot video. And so you're buying a device that does it's designed to do exactly what you need it to do, and so it's going to do it as well or better than anything else. It's going to give you control over your exposure. It's going to have typically a nice zooming option on it, so it's going to give you more flexibility. In addition to shooting, you know, wide-angle interiors of homes, you can also shoot close-ups of, you know, your kid's soccer game or whatever. It's a really versatile kind of a thing. It's what I use. I have a little $300 Sony camcorder I bought at Costco. Of course, you can pay for professional production, but I generally regard that as hiring out, and that's kind of a short-term solution. It's not going to really teach you anything except how to write a check. You are going to get a nice product out of it, provided that you get good referrals to a professional source, but again, I think good enough is good enough. I think the barrier to good enough video is much lower than you think it is because you're more critical of yourself than anyone else is. And so if we kind of advance this slide a little bit, I'll show you the kit that we use. That's a $50 tripod, a $300 Sony camcorder. It retails for about $380. I got it on sale at Costco, such an exotic location. And then that's a little Sony wireless mic kit that I got for $150. So for $500, I have a little 3-piece kit that I can take anywhere I go. It works on uneven terrain, it works inside, it works outside. It's got that wireless mic so that I can clip it to my shirt or to my collar, or I can hold it in my hand like a microphone. And it's extremely versatile, and it's $500 out the door. So,
All right. So that's a lot of great camera information, and we're getting some people asking about professional videos versus, amateur ones, self-done by you. I think you kind of touched on that the professional videos are nice, yet we want the authenticity that comes from people making their own videos. We know that if you look like you were in a studio, all that kind of stuff, it feels that way. So
correct.
making sure you're keeping that when it comes together. One question we got was, do you recommend a flip cam if you can find one? Because
You know
they
what?
don't make
Yeah,
it
yeah.
anymore.
Flip
They were great.
cams, Sony Bloggy. There are a few other ones, the Kodak PlaySport line. They all made great cameras. In fact, I wanted a Kodak ZI-8 very badly. These are little handheld deals with swing-out USB arms. They don't make them anymore, as Chad said. And in fact, on Amazon, the prices are going through the roof because they're selling for more than they sold when they were in production, because they're no longer being made. I like them. They're middle of the road. They're somewhere between your point and shoot and your camcorder in terms of overall quality. If you own one, I love it a lot.
There you
Until
go.
you outgrow it, until you want a better quality one, I like it a lot.
I keep one in my backpack just in case. You never know when you're in a situation that you need one. Of course, I can't find the charging cord, so better get some good video before I'm done. All right, let's talk about some tips then for better video. We've talked about why to use video. We've talked about where to post those videos. We've talked about some of the different kinds of videos to make, and you now just gave us a great rundown on some different kinds of cameras we could be using. What about some tips? Because I have people saying, well, what do you recommend for a teleprompter? And looks like we're going to cover that right here. Give us some of these tips and explain them to us.
So these are 12 tips. I could probably go 18, and we're almost at the bottom of the hour, so I'm going to rip through these because I want to keep time for email as well. But my first one is practice. Anything that you want a basic proficiency in, whether that's a new foreign language, a new sport or activity, a musical instrument, anything you want a basic proficiency in, you have to practice. And communicating on camera is absolutely no different. So when I started with BombBomb full-time, I've been doing project work with them for about 3 years. It's a great team of people. But I've been on board for about a year. And when I joined last September full-time, every morning I shot 1 or 2 videos for people in my personal and professional network saying, hey, I left my 14-year career in local television. I joined this company. This is what we're all about. It's really fun. Hope to hear back from you. And by doing that, I got comfortable delivering messages on camera, and I learned a little bit more about my equipment. And in fact, many of these tips come from my experience of shooting a few hundred videos over the past year. And so you have to practice. If you want to get good at anything, you have to practice. No professional is going to tell you any different. There are no shortcuts. Some of you are naturals. Some of you have a longer comfort curve, and I understand that. So some of you can get going right away and you'll be naturals. Some of you won't be, but it's all a matter of practice. Number 2, eliminate distractions. This is about communicating. You are the sender of a message. There's a recipient of the message on the other line, at the other end, and in between you have the medium and the message. The medium is video and the message is whatever you want to share. Distractions, whether it's something distracting you while you're making the video or whether it's something distracting happening in the background, whether by sight or sound, you're going to impede the ability of your recipient to take in that message, and you're kind of doing a detriment to the overall purpose of making the video in the first place. So whether it's a bunch of knickknacks on the shelf behind you, whether it's a phone ringing, whether it's bring your dog to work day and Rusty comes in barking, whether you're shooting outside and a huge truck rolls down the street, it's okay to just stop and start over. I usually do 3 or 4 takes on most of my videos to try to eliminate those distractions.
All right, now before we go on to some of the others, I'm going to come in because this is what I do. Don't I, everybody? If you're with my MSD, you know it. I've got my opinions, and I'm going to definitely share those with you when I get them. I'm actually going to disagree with Ethan on that part right there. I'm making sure that you're not standing in front of that blank wall and it's a boring video. I know that the attention span of the world right now is shrinking. Thanks to the internet, I know we need some distractions. And if a truck goes by in the background, as long as it didn't roll over you, as long as the ambulance doesn't race by and no one can hear you on the sirens, you guys know that that stuff's okay to have happen because you live life. Some of the best videos I've ever received that I've paid attention to, the guy falls out of his chair. He didn't go back and start over the video. We want you guys to be natural. Remember, one of the things Ethan did bring up was be authentic. And that means being you. Don't stand yourself in front of the gray wall in your office and be that scared, stiff person looking at the camera attempting to make a nice video. Do it in front of the window. Let the trees in the background rustle. Let the bird fly by in the background. Let whatever happens. Make sure your phone's not ringing. Make sure no one's coming into your office if that's where you're filming it right in the middle of it. Absolutely, we don't want that, yet you want life to be happening. So there's going to be me getting up on my soapbox and saying, I'm going to make it just a little bit different. Ethan's got you clearing out all distractions. I want to make sure that you've got a few things to hold my attention because I love you all, yet after about 10 seconds, I'm bored with you. Let's be honest. So let's make sure that you've got something else in the background to look at. You're watching this webinar. Are you really staring at the screen anymore? So I'm just making sure you understand what's going on. All right, keep going because I think that's a great one, and I love on our webinars, Ethan, when we can share differences of opinions with everybody so that they can say,
totally fair.
I do that a little bit differently, and they know that it's still okay whether they agree with me or agree with you, that there are professionals out there that do have difference of opinions. But let's go on and talk about where that camera level should be and why should it be at or above eye level.
This is a recommendation. None of these are absolutes, and your points on distractions are totally fair. Maybe a better word is reduce. Control what you can control, and let everything else just fly. Setting the camera at or above eye level is going to kind of do two things for you. One, it's going to frame your face in a little bit more flattering. It's going to frame your chin in a more flattering way. It's generally more flattering to look down to you than to look up at you. It's really about the chin and the way your chin is framed. It's also going to avoid us looking up your nose, which I've done those shots before. And so if you can be conscious about setting the camera at or above eye level, you're going to generally be more pleased with your video when you go back and play it back. Now this is a little bit tough to do with a laptop webcam because of where the webcam tends to sit. It tends to sit a little bit below, generally around your mouth or your chin level, depending on what size your laptop is, but looking down at you is going to generally be more flattering than looking up at you. I would also say that you want to look directly into the camera because the camera is your viewer's eyes. You're not going to stare them down, but just like you would sit across the table from someone at breakfast or lunch or whatever, and you're going to make a lot of eye contact through that conversation. It's the way we connect with each other and kind of really feel each other. You're going to want to look into the camera because that is your viewer's eyes. So you don't want to stare it down, but make regular eye contact. I do not want to watch a video of you reading your script that's sitting on your laptop just below the camera where you never make eye contact with me because you're reading just off-site. It's weird. It'd be like someone staring at your forehead throughout a conversation or staring at you at your nose. You know they're not looking you in the eye. It's just weird. I also like talking to one person. Even if your video is designed for a large audience, those people are watching one at a time, and you have a relationship with one person at a time. And so it's not about masses of people. It's about connecting with individuals because your audience is simply a collection of individuals. So I really like trying to talk to one person. When you're conceiving what this message is and who's on the other end of that camera, it's a person. Very infrequently do we gather around unless it's a really, hilarious viral video. Do we round each other up and watch videos together? So particularly for some of the kind of the one-to-one and one-to-segment stuff that I've been talking about. And then finally, we can debate this all day long if you want to, but I strongly advocate for not using a script. Using a script means you're going to put more pressure on yourself to say the exact right words in the exact right order. In addition, it's going to make you feel a little bit more robotic because it's so prepared. Instead, I'm not advocating that you just go into these blindly and hope for the best. I outline my videos. I know who it's for. I know where it's going. I know what the 1 or 2 or 3 points I want to hit are, and I know what my call to action is. What do I want someone to do at the end of this video? And so by having this outline in my head, or even written down on a piece of paper and taped to my tripod so I can just throw a quick glance at it while I'm in the middle of the video, I absolutely outline it, but I do not script it.
I'm not going to disagree with you, Ethan. You are going to get complete agreement with me on that. And I'm going to come back again to one of your best points so far, which was they have to be authentic and compelling. Those were great reasons to commit to video. And if you're using a script, unless you know it perfectly, it's going to look like you're reading a script. We're not telling you not to know your scripts. We talk about that a lot in the Internet Marketing Specialist Designation Program. You should have scripts. Yet when it comes to making a video, you should have a script that either you know perfectly and it comes out so smoothly, or you should just have an idea of what you're saying so that it is authentic and compelling, not boring listening to you. Now let's keep going and let's find some other tips, because you had 12 for us and that's only been 6, and this is amazing. What are these other 6 that you're going to tell us about? And these are more about the actual filming of it.
Right. And then overall the video process. But my first one is make sure the light is balanced and comes primarily from the front. When you get lit too much from above, you're going to get those long shadows under your eyes and nose. When you're lit from behind, obviously you're going to be in the shadow and the background's going to be blown out. The light should come primarily from the front, and it should be relatively well balanced. And so watching for dark shadows in your videos, this doesn't mean that every video has to be perfect. I just mean as you make 6 or 8 or 10 or 12 of them over time and you're looking at them and trying to make each one of them better, watch for dark shadows, because that's your clearest sign of bad light. It means you're overlit on one side or the light is not sufficiently balanced. So if you're primarily being lit by an office window that's off to your right, try to offset that a little bit with a lamp somewhere on your left, just to kind of knock those shadows down and give you more of an even lighting. And then this ties to the third one, which is take it outside. I love shooting video outside. It does bring it to life overall. It introduces some of those kind of serendipitous or spontaneous things that Chad was describing with regard to distractions. You also get free light between 7 and 10 in the morning approximately, and 4 to 7 in the afternoon approximately, depending on your time zone and the time of the year, because obviously the sun changes. You'll get free light that's generally lower on the horizon, therefore it's not coming from too high above. At noon or 1 o'clock in the afternoon, the light is really bright and it's coming straight down on you. You're going to get free light in the mornings and evenings. It's going to be generally very flattering for you. And a little bit of cloud cover is also very nice because it helps diffuse the sunlight. I shoot outside because I get free light. It gives an open feeling to the video overall, and it does bring, you know, birds chirping, things flying by, etc. Next one, start small. You know, you get off a webinar like this and you're kind of maybe a little bit amped up and you're ready to get going, and you can't do it all, right? So my recommendation is off this webinar, pick 1 or 2 spots that you're doing online marketing and start to add video there, whether it's, you know, a simple 1-minute video for each one of your blog posts explaining kind of why you made the blog post, what the most interesting or cool thing about it is, and what you want someone to take away from it. Do a little video intro to your blog post, and then maybe add videos to your autoresponder emails. And then as you get comfortable and you get more proficient and maybe develop more skills around it, you start adding it in other places as well. So start small. It makes it much more manageable. I also advocate finding 2 or 3 main locations to shoot videos. Maybe this is one in your home or home office, one at your office, one in a neighborhood park that's a convenient location. This is going to give you the flexibility you need to, as your schedule changes and no day ever shapes up like you think it would, this gives you the flexibility to make sure you can still get your videos shot, that it's interesting for you because you have some variety, and that it's interesting for your viewers because you have some variety. So try to develop 2 or 3 main locations. I have about 6 or 8 of them that I know I can go to. You know, where's the best place to shoot outside in the afternoon? I got 2 or 3 spots that are conveniently located for me to do that. I know where I can 2 or 3 spots in the office to shoot. I could jump out on the office roof and shoot out there, but only in the mornings because of the way the light is, etc. So create some flexibility for yourself. It'll be more interesting and it'll create some variety. And then finally, find your rhythm and keep your momentum. Whether you want to shoot 1 video every morning like I did when I started with BombBomb, or whether you want to make Tuesday video day and every morning from, you know, 7 to 11 you shoot all the videos you're going to need for the next 2 weeks or whatever. No matter what your rhythm is going to be, try to find that rhythm and maintain that momentum over time, because if you want to start doing something tomorrow that you're not doing today, you really need to consciously build that habit, and that's going to be based in rhythm.
Okay, so that's some great stuff. Now, while we're doing a video recap, Sylvia, you asked a question that you've actually stumped me with. Your question is just how is the question. How what? How to make the video, how to upload. What is your how? While I have Ethan talk about the video recap, why don't you give me a little more detail as to what your question actually is so I can throw it at Ethan before we move on to email. So Ethan, take us through a little recap of all the stuff we've just talked about in the first 40 minutes of this webinar before we get on to email.
Okay. My first main point was using video will help you communicate and connect with people more effectively than text and images alone. So your website, your blog, your landing page, your listing page, your email marketing, your blog posts, your social media sites, anywhere you can add video, you can improve the quality and effectiveness of your communication. Secondly, you can use video to complement any aspect of your online marketing. Anywhere that you have words and pictures, you can add video, not to do it all, but just to help bring that message to life. What's the point of all those words and pictures? Summarize it in a video, and it's just a nice complement to those words and images. And then finally, you already own what you need to get started. It's just a matter of getting started. I like buying things that are inexpensive or using what I already own until I outgrow them, until you get to the point that you say, I'm ready to take my videos to the next level, and then you drop that $1,000 on a nice camcorder or DSLR. Start with what you already own, max those out, and then move on to the next tier of stuff. It doesn't need to be difficult or expensive. Most of these barriers are barriers that we impose on ourselves, and it's typically a function of intimidation just through a lack of comfort, lack of familiarity. So just get out there and get going. You don't have to post these videos. You just have to start trying until you get to a point that you're comfortable.
Okay, so I'm getting some great questions, and I'm going to keep us moving, though, because I want to make sure we get through the email. We'll throw some of these questions at the end. Sylvia's asking, though, while I'm getting us into the email section here, how do we transfer things to the net? Well, Sylvia, one, if you're using BombBomb, they've got an app that's just fantastic that you can load it right from your phone if you took it there. Otherwise, depending on the camera you use, you've just got to email it to yourself, upload it direct to YouTube. If it's got a USB connector, you can pull it right into your computer. That's going to depend on what camera you're using. So,
and I'm happy to take those questions by email as well.
Absolutely, and we'll give everybody all that stuff at the end again so they have it. Let's talk email. Tell us a little bit about email, and then let's jump right into the agent of tomorrow.
Okay, email. It's mature. It's been out there for more than a decade. We all use it. We feel overwhelmed by it. It's not sexy like Pinterest or Facebook or any of these other newer tools. However, it's bread and butter. This is rock solid tool to communicate with all the people that you're currently doing business with and that you hope to do business with. So I'm going to start with the Agent of Tomorrow project. This was done by Inman News. They surveyed more than 1,500 top producing agents, and their definition was you had to earn at least $100,000 a year. And so that was just the minimum barrier to entry. And it got much higher than that. This is an infographic made by Social Networks. It rounds up some of the lead findings, but on the next slide, I want to emphasize 3 of them in particular. The first one is that, tab that forward. The first one is that 81% of them are currently using video. This is specifically about features, featuring their listings or themselves on YouTube, but they're using video. 81% of top producing agents are using video. Number 2, their top 3 bang for the buck lead sources. This was most efficient, most effective ROI bang for the buck lead sources. Number 1, past clients and referrals. Number 2, their own websites. Number 3, their own social media sites. And this is for the individual top producing agent, not necessarily for the brokerage. And then the third point here is that their most effective way of converting leads into actual transactions, taking people that say, I'm kind of interested, and turning them into real business and checks in your pocket, the number 1 tool was email marketing, 98% response of top producing agents. That was astounding to me. I know email is effective, but I found that to be an incredible number. So on the next slide, I'm going to connect that to why you should be doing email and why you should recommit to whatever effort you're doing. First of all, it connects to all your top lead sources, your past clients and referrals, your website, and your social media site. Email is the centerpiece of a solid integrated online marketing strategy. You can use it to send targeted calls to action inside a branded environment, and that's an HTML template designed to look however you want it to look. You send it to individuals or segments of people with specific calls to action. Go look at this listing if you're interested. Come read my newest blog post. Go check out my Facebook page and give me a like. Anything you want to do, you send out calls to action that are targeted to specific people inside branded environments, and it connects to your website, your blog, your landing page, your listing page, your social media sites. Email's the centerpiece of all that. Number 2, it's the most effective conversion tool for top producers, just like we saw. So a small investment in a $20 or $30 a month tool will give you returns. And then number 3 here, it continues to be, per the Direct Marketing Association, continues to be the consistent ROI leader and has been for the past decade on average. And now this includes retail folks like people selling shoes and other services online and products online, but $1 investment returns on average more than $40 in revenue. And for comparison, an investment in search yields $22 for every dollar invested. Display advertising, banner ads, returns about $19.72, and mobile returns about $10. Mobile is growing quickly, but I also just read a study that said that about 40% of all clicks on mobile ads are either accidental or fraudulent, which makes sense. I accidentally click buttons on my phone all the time. But anyway, email's highly effective. And here we see above the line, if you advance this one, that bright orange line is total email accounts. Across the board here is Facebook, and I don't actually expect you to be able to read this, but Facebook, Twitter, email, websites, and Google+. So total accounts, far more email accounts. We all have them. Next, below the line is daily activity. How much activity goes on here? How many posts, how many emails, etc. And then the final interesting point here is that this excludes spam. And my only point in including this in the presentation is that email is the workhorse and centerpiece of online marketing. We're all using it. It's where business gets done. I don't know how many of you send out contracts via Twitter or via Facebook or anything like that. Email is where business gets done. All the serious work that we do is through the inbox. So you need to pay a lot of attention to it. And so to get out of Outlook, to get out of Gmail, you're going to want to consider using an email service provider. We are an email service provider, but so is Constant Contact, MailChimp, iContact, eEdge if you're a Keller Williams person. Most of the real estate brands have an email tool that will kind of take you to the next level. And the first thing that they do is improve deliverability. We maintain a whitelist reputation. That means we have positive relationships with Comcast, Verizon, Gmail, Yahoo, all the people you need to get to your clients' inboxes, and we actively monitor that and make sure that our emails are getting through on your behalf. Secondly, you're going to have great tools available to you. You're going to know exactly who's opening your emails, clicking on your links. If you're using BombBomb, you'll know who's watching your videos, who's accessing your documents. Those become trackable elements when you upload those into our service. We'll even give you real-time alerts as people are opening emails, clicking links, watching videos, and so you'll know exactly what's happening with your emails and who to follow up with. You can prioritize your lead follow-up by looking at your analytics. And then there are a bunch of other bonus tools that you'll get from an email service provider, including list management tools that make sure that if you have an invalid address on your list or someone is unsubscribed from your emails, you won't be emailing them again, which improves your reputation and the email service provider's reputation. So that's all automatic with an email service provider. Form tools to generate leads, autoresponders, drip campaigns, mobile app, HTML templates, etc. Stepping out of your Outlook or your Gmail to a full and proper email service provider is going to give you a much more powerful way to do email.
Let's talk about that permission marketing, because you talk about spam and you talk about people unsubscribing and all of that kind of stuff. So what is permission marketing and how do we know about this stuff?
Spam is a huge problem. We all relate to it. The main point here is that emails should be timely, relevant, and anticipated. The people getting your emails should expect to hear from you. You should have a relevant message for them, and it should be relatively timely. Like, if I'm one of your potential buyers and I'm looking to buy a home around $250,000, I don't need your listing about an open house 3 weeks from now for a property that costs $750,000. It's just not relevant to me. So timely, relevant, anticipated are the keywords. Email is not direct mail. It's not a cheaper way to do your print advertising. Just because you have an email address, like you might have a street address, does not mean that you have permission to email to it. So a lot of people bring the direct mail mindset into email marketing, where you buy a list of addresses and you can send postcards to it, or that kind of thing. Email's not that. Email has specific legislation around it to make sure that you're sending timely, relevant, and anticipated messages. Spam is anything that's unsolicited. I did not ask to receive this kind of communication from you. It's bulk, which means you're emailing, 50 or 500 or 5,000 people at a time with messages that are more about you. This is the selfish piece. It's more about you and what you want to push on people than what these people need or want from you, right? So it's just basic respect for other people and being sensitive to the idea of who can and should be receiving these messages in particular. Permission is explicit. People say, yes, I'm willing and able to receive an email from you. It's valuable, right? If someone says, yes, I want to receive your messages, I'm open to that, that's extremely valuable, and you should respect access to their inbox. And it's personal. Again, you don't want to receive spam, and you shouldn't want to send spam either. So don't think about what you're going to get out of it, but think about what your recipients are going to get out of it and how much value and appreciation they're going to get and what they're going to feel toward you by receiving your email messages. And I'm a strong advocate against purchasing and renting lists. I'm certain we'll get comments that say, I have rented a list before, or I bought a list and it was very effective for me. That's very true, but it's not permission marketing, and we have a strong bent toward it. So my exercise is for who should be receiving my email. If I picked up the phone. If I picked up the phone and called you and said, hi, this is Ethan Butte, the Chief Marketing Officer at BombBomb, the company that you use for email marketing. If none of that, my name, my title, my company, or your relationship to my company, if none of that's going to trigger something that says, oh yeah, hey Ethan, I should not be sending you email. You should have some reasonable expectation of hearing from me. So that's kind of a quick rule of thumb there. So getting into the inbox, it's two people's responsibility. It's both ours and yours. We do a bunch of things to make sure that we have great relationships with all of your email recipients and the gateways to your email recipients. On your side, don't send spam. You know what spam is. Don't do it. Don't send from generic addresses like info at, office at. So these algorithms that all these people use to judge whether or not this is spam, they're just looking for triggers. They want 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 things to be true. So no one of these things is going to trigger it, but collectively these are going to get you sent to spam. So don't send from generic addresses. Try not to send from free accounts. Most of the spam assassin type tools look for more formal accounts than the free ones because it's easy to spin up new and cheap and easy free accounts. Write clean subject lines. You know what a spammy subject line looks like. Obviously includes the word Viagra, odd characters, excessive punctuation, all caps. No one of those things is going to get you spam, but again, kind of in combination it can. Send clean emails. Don't send one huge image in your email. There's a text to image ratio. They're looking for some combination of content as well as big images. And you know what a spammy email looks like. And keep your list clean and current. Just because you got an email address 2 years ago does not mean you should be sending to it today. So refresh your list. There are services you can use to clean up your list and make sure that they're all valid addresses and that kind of thing. So those are just a couple ideas around things you can do to make sure that you get delivered. And then finally here, so we can take some questions and look at some examples. Main point about email, the one thing. Be clear on your purpose of the email. I call that the one thing, and make that into a call to action. What do you want someone to do? Do you want them to click a button and go to a listing page? Do you want them to go check out a blog post? Do you want them to go to Twitter? What do you want them to do? Be very clear about that in your own head. Then, and you can advance this slide, set up that call to action in the subject line, and you can advance it a couple more times. There's some arrows here. Reinforce it in the headline, bring it to life in the video, create some bullet points about why they should do it in the body, and then close it with the ultimate call to action. This is, and I didn't include this because it's the best email anyone ever sent, but this was an invite that I sent to some of our real estate customers to drop in on this webinar today, and I explained how and why they would want to do it, and then I closed with my call to action. The purpose for this was to invite you to a free webinar that we were doing with IMSD today. And so the call to action is click this link to learn more and sign up. And so I was clear on that from the beginning, and I let people know when they received it. You're getting this because you're a customer of ours, and we're doing this cool webinar that's designed for real estate professionals tomorrow. Come join us and share it with your colleagues. So being clear about why you're sending every email you send is going to make your email much more effective. You're going to be clear about it and know what results you want, and your recipients are going to know why they're getting it. So I just did a little mashup here of a combination of email and video. And what you see here are headlines. You see videos bringing the messages to life. There are different styles here. The tech-savvy one is a newsletter style with 2 or 3 or 4 links. Chad's was an invite to a Salt Lake City event. Explain why you should attend and kind of take a look at what's coming up. So there are various things that you can do by adding video to your email marketing, but your email marketing is just like your websites, your blog posts, your listing pages. You add video to that place to help bring the message to life. And at BombBomb, we make that really easy to do. We're an email marketing platform. You can send traditional emails or video emails. And if we go to the next slide, if you go to bombbomb.com/IMSD, it's a page that we put together this week. We're offering you 25% off and $100 off a custom designed template. or you can just go there to try it free, or you can just go there to learn more. That's the extent of my sales pitch on this thing, but I'm a strong advocate for video. I'm obviously a strong advocate for email, and like you teed it off from the top, Chad, they're two great marketing tools that can work great together, and so if you ever have any questions, just reach out to me or to the IMSD team. I know that they're advocates for both video and email as well.
Absolutely. Wow. That was some amazing information on video and on email. And the nice thing about BombBomb is it brings it all together. Now, we've just shared with everybody Ethan's contact information. So once again, it's Ethan, nothing difficult on the spelling, at BombBomb. Nothing difficult on the spelling there either. Just make sure you get both of those B's back to back on the end of the first one and the beginning of the second one. Ethan at bombbomb.com. You can email him right there. Or you can also go to our Facebook page. Go to facebook.com/IMS designation. Post up some questions there. We'll have Ethan jump in a little later today, see if there's any questions he can answer there as well. We do have a moment or two for any questions before we get out of here. Now,